Today we are going to talk about a very sensitive topic, depression. We live in very depressing times. Anything can make you depressed. You look at your bank account, you become depressed. You look at inflation, you look at the economy, and every single thing is so designed to keep you at a particular position. Now I'm about to share a unique perspective to this topic. For so long, you've consumed content and you've seen it from one angle. The consistent thread running along the content you've been consuming is usually something like this. Take action, do this, do that. But the reality of it is you've done every single thing they told you to do. You've done all they asked, yet you're still in the same position. So I'm about to share a very unique perspective. I want you to listen with rapt attention. Listen, because this can be the last video you need to combat this ailment. The first thing I'm going to give you is the will to do it, the will to get out of depression. When John F. Kennedy asked Von Braun, what does it take to put a man on the moon? He responded, the will to do it. So if you sustain the will to get out of that situation, you would always leave that place. Majority of you are comfortable in that situation. Majority of you say you're tired of this place, but your action betrays that statement. You say you're tired of depression, yet you still listen to depressive songs at 4 a.m. in the morning. Yet you still wake up late. Yet you're not exercising. Yet you don't have a plan, a definite plan for your life. You're living life on autopilot. You wake up like an accident. You're hoping something would happen, which it invariably would not. If you've been following me for a long time, you understand that this world is cohabitated on wickedness. It is designed to promote evil more than it is to good. If you see anything good, effort was put in order to put it that way. If you walk past a very manicured garden and you walk up to the security or whoever is in charge, who did this? How did this garden become so perfectly neat? It doesn't go oops, it just happened by itself, or the grass, the garden trimmed itself into this perfect shape. No, someone was hired and paid to give it that particular look. So if you want your life to assume a perfect shape, if you want your life to assume a desired outcome or to produce a desired result, you need to put in effort. You must sustain the will to stop blaming people and come out of that situation. The reality of it is, if you look for excuses, you will always find them. If you look for excuses, if you blame someone external, it's always going to, your reality will always warp to match that belief system. There's always two sides to a coin. If you say this is evil or this person is evil, you would always find information, you would always find evidence that backs up that statement. If you say that same person is good, you would invariably find evidence that backs that statement. So sustain the desire to define your own possibilities. It's not the economy, it's not the president, it's not anyone's fault, it's your fault. So take responsibility, 100% responsibility, and sustain the will to leave that situation. That's the first one. The second is stop fighting it. Fighting depression, battling depression means you're struggling against something. It invariably means your attention 100% of the time will be focused on that ailment. Focusing on that ailment is magnifying the disease, because whatever you focus on magnifies. As a man thinketh, so he is. It's like holding on to a rope while someone is pulling it from the other hand. It would invariably hurt your wrist. Sometimes it's better to let go. Instead of fighting it, replace it with another thing. You do not change things by fighting existing reality. You change things by creating a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So start doing things a happy person will do. Start going to the gym, start exercising, start planning for your future. Have goals and set these micro goals that help you achieve the long term goals. A survey was once conducted among men, I believe in the early 18 to 1900s. The researchers asked the young men, it would interview people early in the morning as they commute to work. Why do you go to job? Why do you go to this job? Why do you wake up every single morning? You know the response of 90% of the men. I don't know. Everyone is doing it, so I feel like I should do it. Majority of people have zero idea of the direction their life is going. They wake up, they follow the drill, they go with the flow and hope something magically happens. Like I've shared, that is not always the case. It doesn't happen magically. Effort needs to be put in. Do not be like those friends. And America has so structured its economy such that it is designed for the weaklings not to lose and is structured for the winners to win. It doesn't prevent the winners from winning. It doesn't take brains to go to a university, to get a degree, to get a job, to run a family. It doesn't take brains. So they have created this easy way, easy route for you to take, and you'll be fine. Don't worry. Go to job, uh, go to school, get a degree, go to your job, and maybe when you're 65, you might be able to afford that vacation to Spain. That's not what you want to do. No one wants to drive a Lamborghini with a cane in his hand. Everyone wants to do it while they're young, but no one wants to work for it. Stop fighting depression. Replace it with a good habit. Do something. Structure your life. Have long-term goals and short-term goals that leads to the long-term goals, which is the second. The third one now is the most important key. Do not forget this. If there's anything you've learned today, I want you to put effort. Emphasis is on the third key. The reason why most people are depressed is feeling of self-importance and identity crisis. Let's take the first one. Majority of people want to feel important. I mean, that's what the whole world is built on. That's what the whole world is built on, an ego system. The reason why warlords went to conquer and the kings love conquest is an ego to feel important. The king, isn't it funny that the king who had it all still desires to go to some far flung land and conquer it and take it to prove that he's the king? That's in order to feel important. There are men who give up 10 years of their life to scale towards the ladder and acquire the C-suite position in order to feel respected in that small organization. So everything is structured around the feeling of self-importance. You might think you want money, but the reality of it is you want respect. You want the attributes that come with respect, but money gives you that attribute. Respect is a bundled concept. Once you respect somebody, you are more likely to listen to them. You're more likely to be fair to their authority. You're more likely to be sympathetic. You're more likely to check up on them. So all of these attributes are what you're chasing individually. But the bundled concept is respect from your peers, from women, from your children. That's what you want. So find so people go through this route of hedonism and depression because once you're depressed you get to attend this Wednesday and Friday meetings and talk to a therapist, pouring out your heart to her, and she's right there listening, taking notes. This is the first time someone has ever cared about your opinions. You might think the therapist is giving you advice, you might think you want to talk to a therapist, but the reality of it is you just want to be listened to. Majority of you call customer care, make this complaints, these bogus complaints, even go as far as complaining about something you know the solution to. But the reality of it is you just need someone to talk to. The feeling of importance. That's what you want. You want to get money because money gives you that. But that is what you want initially. That's why most politicians try to steal as much money as they can because that's the only thing they have to offer. They can't network, so they pay their way through everything. They can't get that girl, so they have to pay for escort. When you can't network, it means you don't have relationship. You don't have relationship means you have to pay your way through every single thing, which is a dangerous way to live. Do not be poor. Do not be so poor that the only thing you have is money. So that's what they try because it's only money that keeps them relevant. It's only money that makes people respect them. Again, tying back to our point of respect. It's only that finances that makes their voice heard. That's why they cling on to it as tight as possible. So you don't want respect. Our next point, which is identity crisis. Majority of you do not know who you are. Majority of you are confused. That's the whole reason you plunged into depression because you wake up like an accident. You go to your 9 to 5 job. You do not feel happy. You're in a successful marriage. Your children don't respect you. Your wife doesn't respect you. Perhaps she beats you all the time and you're too scared to leave because she's going to take the kids and take the house. And that will drown you further down the hole of depression, which is not what you want, which is not where you want to be. So you are sitting like a slave, go to job, pay your taxes, stay in a secret marriage, be polite to get a hand job. Please, I watch Sex Island or Love Island with you. Please, can I get a hand job? No one wants to live like that. Your reality is depressing. So you have zero identity of who you are. Majority of you, you're just a kid navigating life, perhaps veering towards adulthood, and you have zero idea of what you're going to be. You don't know what you're going to do with your life. You tried to go down the path of hedonism and you quickly realized that that is not for you. There are times you were in the party or times when you whispered the secret code to get in. You felt so ashamed of yourself because you know you're not supposed to be here. There's an innate voice, still small voice telling you you're meant for more. And that is the truth. You are meant for more. So, my friends, identity crisis is an epidemic. You do not know who you are. Here's one simple way to solve identity crisis. Find someone you look up to, find someone you resonate with, and start trying to cultivate the qualities that makes you like that person. Cultivating the qualities. It might be something as trivial as a podcast host. A podcast host, whenever he asks an insightful question, you resonate with that. You feel stirred up in your soul that this is something you can do. Start doing your research on how to be a good podcast host. You might not have it all figured out, but take that step of action. Consuming content is consuming content. Do not mistake it for taking action. Taking action is taking action. An inch of action moves you closer to your goal than miles of intention. It was Miyamoto Musashi who said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. Now, you might not arrive at 1,000 miles. You might not arrive at your destination, but looking back in hindsight, you would have made so much progress that had you not started, you wouldn't have made. You are only comfortable in your current situation because you're 5 years in, 2 years in, another 10 years in, you would wish you have started now because of the maximum progress you would make. There's a Chinese proverb that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Start now. There's no such thing as perfection. Perfection is like trying to say, I'll make this trip when all the lights are green. What's going to be the end result? The reality of it is there's a 99.9 chance that you're never going to make that trip. So start now. More tools will be found along the way. Leave hedonistic route. Majority of you pretend as though you do not know what hedonism is or you cannot distinguish bad from good. Well, let me give you an idea. The road to heaven seems like hell, while the road to hell seems like heaven. So if there's anything that gives you gratification instantly, That is something you should quit and throw away. Quit and throw away. Of course, when you get to a degree of mastery in a positive habit, you begin to derive pleasure in the habit in and of itself, as opposed to any monetary rewards it brings. I guarantee you, Ronaldo feels super excited every time he sets his foot on that pitch. Michael Jordan feels elated anytime he grabs that basketball and his foot is on the court. So once you attain a degree of mastery, you begin to enjoy the habit. It begins to give you instant gratification. So if that's not the case for you, then take the former advice. I'm trying to make it as information dense, so you wouldn't have any excuse, or you wouldn't have anywhere to run to, or any exceptions. That's why I had to go to the exception and explain it, because we live in a world where people pretend that they do not have a brain, and you have to break every single thing down to them as though they were a child. So I believe with these three keys, you are going to navigate your way out of depression. As always, my friend, it's a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.